Yeah, and then we just have to.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is the budget workshop for Miami County Council. It's Thursday, September 11th, 2025, and it is 6 p.m. So I'm going to start first by introducing Paige from Baker Tilly. She's going to be here to answer our questions and kind of work through this with us. So first on the agenda is a total general fund amount. And I know Paige passed out a nice colored sheet. Thank you. All right. If you guys, have questions or Paige, however.
Happy to walk through this.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So what this is the summary sheet of where your budget stands currently, your proposed 2026 budget. I handed it out, so you should have a copy. So for the general fund is at the very top, and we start with the estimated beginning cash balance of 2026. So this is where we think you will end in 2025. So for general, it's around 9.6 million. The receipts and disbursements are very important columns because when we talk about balancing your budget, we're talking about balancing the recurring disbursements with the receipts. So we are estimating receipts in the general fund in 2026 of 13,147,580. Your budgets as they stand now, as proposed in Gateway for the general fund, is 15,187,463. The ending fund balance would then be 7.5 million. The net cash flow, if it's negative, means that you will be using cash reserves to fund this proposed budget. If part of the use of the cash reserves is for one-time capital purchases like capital outlays, then that's appropriate. So if you look at column G, we do note that 1,079,905,000 is budgeted in general for capital outlay. That's okay to use cash reserves for those capital outlays. But there is a variance there. If you look at the far right-hand column, about $960,000 will be needed from your cash reserves to fund recurring costs, and that's not a sustainable budget. So that would be, at least coming from our opinion, would be the suggested budget reductions in the general fund is 960,000. If you do that, then you will have a truly balanced budget. It doesn't mean you can't fund this budget as proposed, but we're trying to get you to have a sustainable budget into future years. And we've also kind of marked which one of these are sustainable or not sustainable. I have a yes if it's balanced. So most of your funds are balanced. The next fund that isn't balanced is the health fund. So here we have receipts in the health fund of 419,171. Disbursements are $928,057. So the net cash flow is negative 510,000, but there is $400,000 of capital. So if we eliminate that from the equation, then necessary budget reductions would be about 108,000 if you want to balance that budget. The next one that is not balanced is your local income tax public safety fund. The receipts are $1.2 million. The disbursements are approximately 1.4 million. There are no capital outlays that we could see in the budget, so the amount out of balance that we are suggesting to reduce would be 180,576. The next one is the highway fund, which is right below that public safety. That one also is not balanced. This is a combination of two funds, your restricted and your unrestricted funds. We have total receipts of 4,251,945, disbursements 5,075,767. I didn't see any capital outlays. However, I do know that you have a line item budgeted for the restricted portion, and I think it was around 500,000. But not seeing any capital outlays unless you want to count the restricted portion as non-recurring, we would we would suggest a reduction of 824,000 approximately. And then the last one that's out of balance is the Miami County Wheel Tax Surtax Fund. Receipts 734,494. Proposed disbursements 945,000. There is capital though of 170,000. So that one is not very much out of balance. It's only out of balance by like 40,500. So that is a summary of where you stand right now. I don't think we're going to find any other revenue. So I think you're down to maybe potentially shifting some costs to some other funds that can handle some of these expenses, or making reductions. Your lit special purpose fund, which can be used for jail operations, has a positive net cash flow of $600,000. So you could move some jail expenses from general and public safety over to the lit special purpose to try to help out. I don't know that it would completely balance those budgets, but it would help. You have a positive net cash flow, just about like 37,000 in cumulative courthouse. I did see some courthouse maintenance items in the general fund that could potentially be moved to cumulative courthouse. So there could be some changing of where you're spending things to help bring it a little bit more into balance, but I think there may be some reductions necessary unless you want to utilize cash reserves to fund recurring costs, which we wouldn't necessarily recommend. You have any questions?
Any questions?
So that was as things were submitted on Gateway, right?
Yes.
So the general fund, when you lump everything in there, is that like, if you look at the fund numbers, is that like 1 through 34? Or do you know what, when we look at our budget sheets by fund, what all is in that?
Tell you, it's going to be a long list. It's clerk of circuit court,
Yep.
county auditor, county treasurer, county sheriff, county surveyor,
Yep.
county coroner, assessor, prosecuting attorney, county cooperative extension service agent,
Yep.
county council, the drainage board, county commissioners, plan commission, election expense, courthouse, Superior Court number 1, Superior Court number 2, circuit court, probation, public defender, victim assistance, weights and measures, civil defense, jail, 4D program child support, county assessor. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not county assessor. That it ends at soil conservation. So 4D program child support and soil conservation. Then that would be the end.
Okay. So like EMA, Veterans Administration, recorder, all that is included as well, or not?
It should be included, but I'm not seeing that on the sheet. But let me double check and make sure I didn't miss something. Registration of voters. I think I missed that one.
In CASA?
Is CASA a line item within the commissioner's
No,
budget?
it's a separate budget. Our budget number 32.
Okay, let me see. Don't see it in the general fund. Let me see if it's a separate budget.
What was your question, Brad?
If it's include, like, what, when she's talking general fund, we see the individual funds.
Yes.
We don't really see things grouped by that general fund. So I was just trying to get a better handle on what's included in that number and what's
Yeah,
not
your
included.
question was what, CASA?
Yeah, the CASA, EMA are the two that
Yeah,
I did not check off out of that list.
yeah.
So
Is EMA the same as civil defense?
could be budget
Could be.
26.
Yeah, what
Okay.
what is the budget? Because I think we run into that where DLGF only has certain names that we can use.
I gotcha.
So let me see if
Number 26.
see if we
We
don't
are
have
for
to
civil
have-
defense now. Okay. Awesome. Okay.
I think that's possibly, and then CASA is probably something that I need to just figure out the crosswalk.
And then it appears that there were some other budgets, Riverboat, Local Health Department Trust, that didn't get uploaded to DLGF.
The local health department trust, since it's a grant fund, DLGF does not review that fund, but
Okay.
it can certainly be added. Even though we submitted Form 3, we can still add that because it's not a fund that's reviewed by DLGF. Riverboat, on the other hand, should be in here, but it's not. I don't see
Yeah, we had
it.
a $500,000 capital
Yeah, I do
out of that
Riverboat.
we were going to use for an EMS contract. And then according to the notes that I had from our other workshop, reassessment, that's a separate fund, isn't it?
is a
Right? That's not part of general. Yeah, I had a change in the capital dollars from that. And then local source E911, I had a different number than what was given us there. And then there were a couple. I noticed there was 1, 2, 3. There were 5 grant funds that we had that I think are no longer in use, but it looked like some of that stuff was there. But those are grant funds, so that doesn't. Okay.
It's the information that gets into Gateway is uploaded, I believe, from your accounting system. So it must be coming,
Okay.
like it must still be in the accounting system.
We're missing lit PSAP out of that DLGF too.
Lit PSAP is a separate fund. Oh, but you're saying it's missing from the upload.
From the upload.
Yeah, you're right.
We're missing
right.
14 total from the upload from.
Yeah, I do not see lit. There's lit public safety, but not lit stuff that I can see.
What budget number is that, Thomas?
1235. That's where the other half of the dispatchers are coming out of.
1235.
Lit PSAP.
Well, I have that as Cume Bridge.
In Bridge, I have 1135.
What did you say?
1235.
Okay,
from
sorry.
Lit
Yeah.
PSAP. I can double check in the book.
So in light of these things that seem to be missing, here's what we would recommend that you do is have DLGF unlock this so that we can add what needs to be added. But then you will have to have another public hearing, and of course we need to change the adoption date anyway, as you all have told me that the adoption date should be October 14th, and it's currently advertised as October 21st. So the process would be that we would just contact DLGF, the state, and ask them to unlock the notice to taxpayers. We would work with the auditor's office to make sure that everything gets uploaded appropriately. But again, you can keep the October 14th date, but you're going to have to reschedule that September 16th date. And because we are less than 10 days away from September 16th, you're still going to have to open up that September 16th meeting. Like you can't cancel it, and you can just publicly say that you've rescheduled the meeting to a different date. Now, if you don't want to change these budgets, it's possible that we can keep the September 16th date, but I have to check with DLGF, but we can change the October 21st date to October 14th. But I feel like I think it would be better to get everything uploaded as it should be, double check all the numbers before we resubmit the notice to taxpayers. But we need to work with the auditor's office to get that done.
So I think part of the discussion that I heard from Paige as well is we also have decisions to make on general fund. I mean, even with those corrections, it sounds like we have currently for 2026 are going to operate an unbalanced budget. And so we're either, and keep in mind the figures that were submitted did not include any raises. So, if we want to do any wage increase, we're either going to spend down or find $1 million somewhere to do some changing there. I would say I think that the recommendation is a good one. If it's okay with Sheriff to move some of the jail deputies to that lit special purchase, unless he's going to put in some hot tubs or something with that money.
That's a thought.
Yeah. So I think that's a good recommendation to look at moving some of that money there. But I think I would love to hear others' thoughts on either additional cuts or you're okay with spending down the cash reserves to a little over $7 million. Am I wrong in that page? Yeah,
No.
correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Jail deputies, we need to consider some of the jail deputies to what account?
Lit special
Lit
purpose.
special.
If you move 7 of them that are 52,849 apiece, that's about 370,000 that go, and that would be from the general fund jail department. So this does help your general fund.
Yeah. Let's be pretty specific there. So that's moving out of budget number 9 into budget 1114 lit special purchase.
$800,000.
Well, that's 369, right? 370,000.
I'm starting there.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's also a jail deputy that's in the sheriff's department in the general fund. And that is 56,282. That can also be moved to lit special purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be from budget number 8.
That one is because it needs to be for jail. If it's not jail, then
those are that's 6282.
it says jail deputy is how it's coded on the line item. But if it's not jail, we can't move it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it is.
you don't think it is? But it's in the jail department budget.
Well, I thought we moved all three of the courthouse security into sheriff, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
One for 56,282 is the 3 security officers.
Which should have been, there should be 3 of those in there.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's in the sheriff's budget. I said
Right.
It's in the sheriff's budget.
You said it was labeled as jail deputy.
Yeah, I can tell you what the line item code is. Would that be helpful? Or it's up 11355. Is that not helpful?
Okay.
Yeah, it's labeled as jail deputy, but again, if it's not, we can't move that one.
We should probably double check to make sure that the 2 got moved from commissioner to sheriff if there's just one in there.
This is the one we voted on during the workshop. We are in the sheriff's budget.
Sheriff is number 12. Or no,
8.
8, thank you. What did you say the line code was? I'm sorry, Paige.
11355.
Yeah, that's all position.
Yeah. So actually, there's
So that
2 additional ones that we added in there.
so it cannot be.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And it doesn't look like there's line codes yet for the 2. So we had courthouse security that was originally under commissioners. We moved them under sheriff. That's who they report to as part of their. So it should have been a $0 change. It was just moving it from commissioners to sheriff.
So it's just a deputy, not sheriff.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So here was another idea. This helps public safety, not general, but there are jail deputies in budgeted currently from lit public safety, 158,547 that can be moved to lit special purpose. I don't know how many of those are. Let me see if I can find it. From 1170.
Positions, 160,000.
That can be moved. And then two more things can be moved from lit public safety that would just probably bring that fund into balance. It was moving uniforms for the deputies from lit public safety. Again, if it's not jail deputies, we can't move it, but that was $8,000. And then uniforms for inmates, 8,500, moving both of those items to lit special purpose. And then that would be pretty close to balanced, that lit public safety fund.
Yeah, so another note about lit public safety. So we're trying to prepare for the commissioners and our vote on a new EMS contract.
Okay.
So we added a $500,000 line as a placeholder for that contract because we missed the August 1st deadline. So the intention in 27 is going to be to look at the lit EMS tax rate, but because we missed the reporting deadline, so it's there this year. The intention is that it not be there in previous years.
Okay, well then it probably isn't out of bounds. I guess my concern is there though is when the EMS lit goes away, can your county lit cover that expense?
The
Because
new one,
yeah, at the end of 2027.
I believe that fund got a little unruly.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something we would need to look at. I mean, I agree that
That's the reason why it looks a little different this year. I'm not telling you we solved it correctly, but that's the reason why. Yeah, because lit public safety, was scheduled to have a balance before it goes away of $1.6 million. So we have $370,000 is what I have written down to free up.
in general. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I did mention that I saw that there was a line item for elevator maintenance for the courthouse from general of 25,000. That I think that could be moved to cumulative courthouse if you wanted to.
Yeah. So I believe there was a long list of, I'll call it IT items that were put in the commissioners under capital. It's under capital though, but those could probably move. I'm assuming could move to a cum courthouse expense.
Cum courthouse can only be used for. I looked up the statute. I don't think that would fit under that. For the construction, remodeling, and repair of the courthouse. So.
Yeah, because they had $739,000 capital improvement.
And that's what I have included. It's in my capital number already. So.
Any other suggestions?
Those were the only, I combed through this pretty heavily this afternoon, and that was all that I could come up with. Next year you have the option of establishing a cumulative capital development fund, which you can pay for IT out of that. That would generate about $400,000 annually. It's too late to adopt it this year for next year. And then also establishing the wheel tax to the max would at least help your highway department. And I think that would generate an additional $1 million. or you wouldn't even have to go to the max.
Right.
But
Can we move money out of lit economic development at all?
you can't move money out of there, but you can certainly budget things out of there.
Like what?
Okay, so lit economic development can be used for any county purpose. However, you'd have to get the commissioners to agree to it because they develop the budget.
Because we're 450% over budget in that fund. Just want to make that clear. So that would be something I'd like to look into.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't mention that you do have a positive net cash flow of 2.4 million in lit economic development. I didn't touch that one though, because you do have to work with the commissioners to develop a plan for that. But by statute, it can be used for any county government purpose.
You have to give the commissioner to make sure you're the only one representing the commissioners. How do you feel about that, Brenda?
I think we need to utilize everything we can to make sure we have a balanced budget.
We have your blessing to look at that.
You know, you can take the other two to vote to do anything, but
Yeah, I just want to make sure if they're here, I'd ask them the same thing.
sure.
Okay.
I know there was a discussion on the IT items about trying to get that list down to a want versus need. I don't know if we've seen that yet. Yeah, I mean, there's just the IT infrastructure line items, $301,000 in their budget. So I don't know. Has anybody else heard or discussed that at all? Brenda, have you guys talked about that at all? About the IT budget, getting that to a want versus need? Okay.
Part of that, but we haven't really discussed it yet.
Discuss with Jimmy too, right? Right.
Yeah, I mean,
You can probably determine what the wants versus needs.
Sandy, are we allowed?
Oh, yeah.
Are we allowed to ask some information? Would that be helpful? Could I present it to her and see if we can help a little bit with this, with the highway portion of it?
Yeah.
Is it page?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I just come up there and sit by you a second? Okay. Is that all right? I don't know that I have everything with me, but it might shed a little light on this. I know, and I would have probably brought more. So I brought a copy of the annual report, and I don't know that you ever had that, or did you?
I do have the annual
You do it now, okay?
Yes, I do.
So if you can, I heard you say MBH was going to be 800,000 over. Is that what? I'm sorry, I didn't.
So we combined motor vehicle highway and the restricted, so both together. So we're estimating receipts of 4.251 million for both of those funds combined. And the budget as it stands now, at least in Gateway, is $5,075,000. Is that right?
So last year, I'm going to pull this out because that'll be helpful to you.
Okay.
Yeah, expected revenue. So the MBH is only spent one way, and it's very restricted, and it's all road materials, everything on the road. No, I don't even take wages out of it, even though we could, but we don't. So last year in restricted receipts, 2,061,000. You see that? That's correct. 192.
Last year in 2024, receipts for the annual report was 2,061,000.
192.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've seen the MBH, 2,087,800.
Yeah.
Okay. Then disbursements last year, which is also, as you can see, restricted 2,550,000. Okay. And then you see the MBH unrestricted And if it goes back to the financial statement, here, there's your receipts
Mhm.
for both of them. There's your disbursements.
Yep.
And this is your disbursement total. And this shows you right here, that's the limit when you look at under or over, excuse me,
Mhm.
more revenues than you've taken in.
Yeah.
So that gives a cash balance of $1,527,000.
Mhm.
So if you take that money, that would be carried over, and then your
Yeah, I have that, but what we're trying to get at is
The-
with your disbursement and the match.
590,000.
You're not including that.
so
Before we
then
cut.
next year's expected revenue would be typically the same.
Yeah.
So that would give our budget just, and this isn't going to be every year. We have to
Yeah.
juggle it.
Right.
Would be the 2025 $2,875,000.
Mhm.
If you add the carryover because we didn't spend it all and expected revenue, that should give you 3,600,000. See that? Is that what you come
Yeah.
up with
I mean, I do think that you are going to have a pretty healthy cash reserve.
for
However,
1 year? Yeah.
yeah, however, it's going to be up to the council to decide if they would like to fund your budget with your cash reserves or
Well, we've done it like this for 18 years, is what I can tell you. Now, does it get changed? Yes, we've been juggling money because, especially when we went through the recession, we've had to move money. And if you look at our budget, and I understand where you're coming from, but this is unfortunately when we buy equipment and stuff, we do juggle. If you look at next year in phase 3 of MVH, we have $150,000 in for equipment. And Carrie and I talked, and let me see if I even put it in there this year. I gotta remember. We took some of this stuff out of here. We took out the engineering fees because we knew we'd be spending more of the money this year. And when this happens, what we do is we move the money. Let's say it's repairs. We've been shifting it over to LR&S or wheel tax. So we do keep a close eye on this because it's getting tough. It's when it gets down, you've got to find the money to pay the bills.
Yeah. Are there any questions for Janice? So,
I agree with her numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
But
It's just a strategy conversation, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that
It's-
you understood that we
Yeah.
have enough, and we know this year, and I know that next year it will change again,
right.
and we'll shift the money. So this
Yeah,
year the
you just
money
wanna-
is there
Yeah.
for the 2026 year, I should say. And we don't always spend all of our budget. We try to. It's the restricted, we really try.
Right.
So when I heard the 800 some thousand,
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
No, I appreciate you coming up and clarifying. I mean, it's a council. If you don't have any other, but Yeah.
Figured we're gonna have a lot of carryover.
A lot of carryover. Well, I can tell you
From what I heard,
Yeah.
like
I mean, I'd like to say there's going to be some carryover. You try to carry over 15 to 20% of your budget, but it just depends. So, but I know we're okay. And then the next year we'll be shifting a lot of numbers around. There probably won't be as much equipment bought, if any. So
and that's when we talk about wheel tax and what we do.
wheel tax, and we have been spending that down quite a bit. I mean, and we can buy equipment in wheel tax, and that was where we were going to shift to is wheel tax. And I just kind of wanted you to. When I heard the 800,000, I thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
No.
be okay for at least 1 year, and then we'll do some shifting.
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jan.
Okay. So I just took a look back at the comprehensive plan, and on the general fund. So when I used the comprehensive plan, I was looking at the red and the green, right? So this has an estimated that by 2027 our general fund would be 5.28, which is more in line. Right now it shows maybe we're a little cash heavy. So if we were to make this move, and then it also appears there might be a maintenance guy maybe in the jail that could move to the lit special services, the salary for that person. So if we made a little bit of these tweaks, my suggestion would be to carve back some IT. If I did my dirty IT math, for us to do about a 3% raise would cost about $300,000. So if we were to do that and move that around, we would still be, even though we're ending at 7.5, we're still right on the edge of, we're a little higher than your recommended cash balance. So we would be okay for this year, knowing that in 27 we are going to have to move some stuff around between either lit special services or the 85 lit accounts we have and all this shenanigans that's going on if the state house doesn't make another change. So am I wrong in that
Are
thinking?
you saying that, so how,
I'm saying that I think this is okay based on the 5-year plan showing that we do need to spend down general. Now we know there's a cliff coming in 28, right?
yes,
We know that there's this huge cliff, and like some of the PSAP stuff is going away. State 911 is all going to be a debacle. We also don't know we don't know yet if that cliff is real or if it's going to get changed again or if it's going to be worse, right? And we've talked about the CUME. We need to set a lit EMS. My point being, like, there's a lot of big things that we need to do in the beginning of 26 to fix all this. And so the position that we're in now to make a couple of these moves and give 3% raises, I don't feel, I completely understand the red ink, right? And I also think that we can withstand this year, would be my opinion. However, moving forward, we know we've got a lot of work to do together with your office and the council the first of 26 to get a cash, I'll call it a cash plan, right? Versus a strategy plan. That's what I would, so that's just my thinking. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So
yes, you have enough cash reserve that you can withstand this probably for a couple years, maybe 2 years. I do agree with you that in 2028, this will probably force you to go to the 1.2% max on that
Yes.
lit.
yes,
And depending on, how much of a cliff it is, there may be some other changes that you need to make.
Yep.
But yes, I concur with what you're saying.
Okay. So the other change I would suggest then under jail, Sheriff, you correct me if I'm wrong. We've got a full-time maintenance person there that's out of that budget. If we move that salary to lit special purchase, so I'm looking for somebody to tell me no. There's 2 people. Okay, I was only at the one on the bottom. Oh, but wait, there's more. There are 2 maintenance techs. Thank you, Mary. So 11,204 maintenance tech and 11,368 full-time maintenance. I would say we can move those to let special purchase, and that would be a total of, looks like they're paid a little differently. 117,634. That's really a $473,000 deficit if we just do that. Unless there's any other changes somebody wants to make, feel free to throw out a different idea.
So you're talking 2 jail maintenance and then 3.
I'm talking those 2 positions, paying those out of lit special purchase. So moving them from budget 9 to budget 1114 under professional services. So that brings us even closer to where Paige is suggesting that we be.
And you're also moving those 7
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was.
Yeah,
right.
clarifying. So,
Yes. That does include
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Then you're also adding raises though, right?
Right.
Uh,
About 300,000. That's rough math. Don't hold me to it.
So that puts you pretty much back to where you were,
590.
but you're just
But
gonna
we're-
cover that out of your.
Right. So it's okay to spend down as long
Yeah.
as we don't drop below 5.5. If we drop below 5.5, we're in trouble, and this
Yeah.
will put us at 7.5.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So help me understand, Paige, the order of operations here. So obviously we're talking about putting raises in that now changes our budgets. We've got budgets that weren't uploaded we need to get done. So just so that I have some clarity, walk me through what we need to do to get to your budget's been approved and everybody gets paid.
So it's really an administrative function. Since we're so early in the process, it's basically we're going to start over. So when I say start over, we can, and it sounds like maybe Annette's already contacted DLGF, but we need to contact DLGF, tell them to unlock the Form 3, which is the notice to taxpayers. And we have to give them a reason. And the reason is we need to amend the budgets because they weren't all uploaded. And we also need to change the date of the public hearing and adoption. So once we get them to agree to do that, they should agree to it. It should be fine. Then we can help the auditor's office. Well, the auditor's office will have to make the upload. So we need someone to help the auditor's office internally make sure that everything gets uploaded properly. If you can give us the numbers, we can also double check the upload. And then you will need to, because we're less than 10 days from September 16th, unfortunately, you will still have to have that September 16th meeting.
And that's okay because that's our regularly scheduled
yeah,
council.
council meeting, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Perfect. But now we will need, Baker Tilly will need to know what is your new public hearing date. We already know what your adoption is. It's October 14th. We need to have at least 10 days between the new public hearing date and October 14th.
October 21st.
It's October 14th, right? That's
Yes.
what you want to change, because we advertised it as October 21st, but I'm hearing that that was the wrong date. So October 14th, or whatever date you pick, but I'm going to say October 14th is your adoption. I need a new, you don't need to decide that tonight, but we need a new public hearing date. And we need to make sure that this Form 3, Notice to Taxpayers, is submitted at least 10 days before the hearing. So maybe we can work backwards. What do you?
So October 3rd is a Friday. So that'd be,
Well, so what Paige is saying is
Yeah.
that between now and 10 days,
Yeah.
before the stuff is uploaded into DLGF, we need to verify that all these budgets are correct.
oh,
And then if we're going to do raises, we need to verify that the salary ordinance is correct. We need to verify that all the personnel services are correct,
right.
every single one. And then we can upload to DLGF to give 10 days,
Yeah,
right?
we need to have
Yes.
the upload, or the submission of the Form 3 in Gateway needs to occur 10 days before that new public hearing date. And the new public hearing date needs to be at least 10 days before October 14th.
If we want to keep the October 14th.
If you keep the October, yeah, if you want to push it, you have until November 1st. So you could push it to the end of the month if you wanted to. And since we're doing a redo, you can do whatever you would like. I mean, you could tell me what dates you would like and I could see if it works.
But if we're going to ask DLGF to pull the notice back, we need to be
Yeah.
100% certain that
Yeah.
Form 3
Absolutely.
is correct.
Correct.
And so I think my opinion is we need to allow time to make sure that those forms are correct.
So you don't want to,
So I would not let's not fly in by the skin of our teeth here and do it 10 days from today. I mean,
oh no, I was
we
thinking,
need
I'll
to allow-
backtrack from October 4th.
Yeah.
and this is my opinion. After we do that, we need to clearly communicate back to department heads to make sure that everybody's clear. I mean, we just moved a bunch, or have asked to maybe move jail. Like, I want to make sure all department heads are good and understand what we're doing before we, put the padlock on it and send it up. That's my opinion. Yes, sir.
Where is so we got the EMS contract and then we have the EMS capital outlays for equipment. Where was that from? I can't find it.
Riverboat.
Was it Riverboat?
Yep.
Both of them?
No, the public safety was for the contract under professional services, and then the capital was going to come out of capital outlays out of Riverboat.
So I'm just looking here. It's just bringing it up. So if we get the commissioners to agree to use the lit economic development, we're spending 1.7 million out of there. We're bringing in 4 million. So we're gonna have 2,378,000. Can we maybe put some of the commissioners' capital outlays into that?
Well,
That's
so
what
you
it's
can
not
correct me
about.
if I'm wrong here, Paige, because I'm just a lawyer on TV. I mean, we could cut some of this back. We can always appropriate money out of economic development. So we can it's just that we have to have that appropriation done. So, I mean, if we were to cut some of that back, it's just not there and available to make a claim toward. So, if we don't touch that economic development money, which, originally some of it was going to be earmarked for a courthouse remodel, but we could at any point the commissioners could come and ask to spend that money, and we would just hear it, advertise it, and approve it. So just because it's not in a budget doesn't mean that we can't spend it. So
spend it by additional appropriation.
yeah, so we could, if we were in a real tight spot, we could pull that budget back. But if it's budget, it just means that they can make a claim and pay it and not have to, ask for permission, quote unquote. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Brad, we do have a $20,000 change in wheel tax in our budget.
Okay.
The fuel island that we were going to do next year, we're actually doing it now. So it's going to be done this year. So we would just take that $20,000, move it up to building, because we'll use it.
Yeah.
So that's the only
Well, and
I can see.
My hope too is that since we got a lot of department heads here tonight, like everybody understands what we're going towards. And, when we're looking at budgets moving forward, that we're moving, either using money this year, we're encumbering. And so just know that, the outlook doesn't look awesome because of some of the changes in tax law. And then we have work to do as well with lit and some of this other stuff to make sure that we're doing our part to make those adjustments. So I guess we should be encouraged that that we've been put in a very good position. So thank you to those that have helped us do that. Yeah.
Clarify the October 14th meeting.
So, right. So the, was it 2 meetings ago or the last council meeting? There was a request to move the council meeting because of the auditors conference. So, I forget which meeting it was. You have to, the August meeting. So we had moved the meeting to October, but in the communication that was not relayed to Baker Tilly. So that's why the Form 3 notice went out with that date on it. So.
Yeah, and this said October 21st on it too. So
right, so that they were given October 21st when we thought it was October 14th. So yeah, if we leave it right now, we have to convene on August 21st and have that adoption.
And what also is going on October 14th is Hidden Hills and solid waste. So we'd have to meet on the 14th and the 21st. So, yeah.
Okay, so we've got to, if the council agrees or wants to move forward with this, we would need to update salary ordinance, budgets, make sure everything is good. Those have to get uploaded, then provide 10 days notice. How long does it take, Paige, to get an answer back from DLGF on this?
It's pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah. If we pick September, and I'm being devil's advocate, September 30th, which is a Tuesday evening, gives, I would think, from now till September 30th.
Well, but Sandy, we need time to make sure the forms are updated. right? I
know,
mean, it's going to take a couple days.
but I would think the LGF wants to have a date when we request this. Am I?
Well, we can't resubmit until we get a date. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're saying
But when you ask for them to pull it down, do you have to give them a date when you
not
do that?
at that time, but they're going to be the ones that change Form 3. I don't know why that is, but whenever we unsubmit Form 3, they have to change the dates. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah.
So what you just mentioned, if you did September 30th,
Mm-hmm.
then we would submit on the 20th. So would that be enough?
That gives us a week from tomorrow to get all this done.
As long as the upload can occur, it can work on our end to double.
I'm going to look to the auditor's office. Yeah.
That's the AIC
Yeah.
conference.
AIC is
The
September
30th.
29th. I don't know who's attending.
Okay.
I'll be very honest with the way that this has gone down. I would not feel comfortable missing this meeting. So I don't know what all
Yep.
department heads are attending that, but everybody can go to that. So
Yeah. So
Okay.
how many days after that first meeting do we have to have the final adoption then?
You have to have at least 10 days between the public hearing and adoption.
So I would submit for consideration that we have the hearing at our October 14th meeting for council, and then we have to call a special meeting the last week in October to do the padlock or final hoorah. Because I share Mary's concern. I want to make sure we get this right. I don't want to.
So your last meeting would have to be on October 24th or later, and that would work. So
So I would.
October 14th for our
So
first reading.
yep, and then I'll throw out the 28th because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Okay.
that would definitely work.
Looking for any objections,
Anything else?
concerns.
Mary,
So
you
you're
can
saying
think of
October
that
28th
is
would be the
going on.
adoption date?
Yes, ma'am.
So when is the next? And then you're going to read all these at the October 14th.
Right.
meeting?
My suggestion is as soon as we get, or maybe before we upload these, Mary, that we get these. You guys have got to get your eyeballs on these things. So, I would say as soon as we can get these updated, that we get them back out to department heads to allow at least a couple of days for consideration and making sure we dotted our I's and crossed our T's.
Yeah, typically on the gateway, when you send the email to have it unlock it, they'll do it within like an hour or something.
Yeah.
It's not like we cross.
You don't have to send chocolates or pizza or something
No.
with it.
Maybe Diet Coke then.
Okay, so you said the AIC conference was when? Was that
29th to
the 29th?
9th, the 30th, and 1st, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
So, yep. So would it be unreasonable to say that we'll have, so the form has to be uploaded when then, Paige?
On October 3rd, since the 4th is a Saturday. So October 3rd is when we would resubmit the Form 3. So we've got plenty of time.
So if we had all this put together to department heads no later than September 26th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, does everybody think that's acceptable? That gives you a week
Yes,
to
we
review
initially-
them. I'm sorry, it would be during the AIC conference.
As long as they're emailed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that,
We initially said tomorrow by noon.
yeah, that's not going to
No.
happen with all
So
this
we
work.
need to clarify that it's
yeah.
not tomorrow.
That,
that they're
Marcy,
getting
is that, do you think that's acceptable? I want to make sure that you guys,
And it's gonna be out for like it's just gonna be us.
okay.
So
When did she come back?
Well, I mean, tentatively the 17th.
Okay.
Hopefully all goes well and there's
Yep.
not a problem.
Well, I think a couple of us have learned more than we ever wanted to about
Yeah.
budget, so we're here to help
Okay.
do that, and we've got Paige and her team. So,
Yeah.
does that sound good?
So September 20th.
So by September 26th, yep, everything will be sent to department heads. That'll give you a week. We will have to submit to Gateway on October the 3rd. The public hearing reading will be October 14th. Final adoption to October 28th.
in the email when you send out.
Sure.
Should be.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yep. Okay, any problems with that schedule? Speak now. Forever hold your peace. Okay. So I've done a lot of talking. I apologize. But I would love to hear other thoughts or comments on this general fund. If people are comfortable, not comfortable, what your
I think it could start with what Paige is, suggested and like you said, with the changes with the 7 employees, with the sheriff's department or the jail, that we'll communicate with the sheriff. On here on the health department, you've got under, G, the 400,800, isn't that that one fund that can only be used for,
This Fund 1159 is their major operating fund. We don't have their Health First Indiana fund on here. So 1159 is their major operating fund.
yeah, so there was I think that one time I called it the food truck, but
yeah,
there's like a
right.
one-time capital. Yep.
What was your question?
Oh, I thought that was their, and maybe I'm wrong. I know there was a 400,000 that could only be used. It was COVID. That
So you have the health first.
is that.
I mean, the Health First, it's not in Gateway. I don't think it doesn't have to be because it's grant money. So we didn't really look at that. I don't know what the budget looks like there.
Yeah, because the health department. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're balancing was it 4 funds, 5 funds? Yeah, 8. Only 8 budget. So she was balancing things. So that can be pretty fluid.
We just looked at the
No
one
pun
that's
intended.
funded property tax, which was 1159. And there is some computer hardware in there for 400,000, which is fine. They've got the cash reserves to cover that. But
What's that budget number?
1159 here.
I mean, this one is where their recurring costs are out of balance by 108,000.
Mhm.
But there is cash reserves to fund that. But I think what you need to know is that, eventually those cash reserves will run out. So right now it's not really sustainable, but it's probably sustainable for, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years.
Yeah, so that 400,000 in our budget sheet, it was labeled mobile unit. So that was the
Yes,
one-time
yeah.
vaccine.
Okay, I don't know why it's showing as computer hardware and Gateway, but
Yeah, I just wanted to.
yeah.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Uh,
So if was there a vote or something done that was hiring somebody to manage the budgets or to do all the work for the budgets, or when was that decided?
So we had that conversation. There was a contract signed by the commissioners on May 5th.
I went
May 5th.
May 5th.
Yep, that was a copy of the contract that we received last week.
They voted on that in the meeting, because there's nothing in the minutes about it.
Can't answer that.
No.
So our October 14th meeting will be what?
October 14th will be our council meeting, and then
regular meeting.
we'll do the public hearing there too. Yes, sir.
so, where next we want to go on this agenda? Do you want to? I know I've got the assessor requesting audience. On the cell phone stipend and raises and part-time and or do we want to just
Yeah, I just
wait on that?
raises. I try to recommend COLA, follow the COLA increase.
3%, that's, yeah, what,
COLA is 2.7.
I think we're looking at 3%. So are we ready for?
we'll add that 3% in and resubmit so that when the department heads get it, it'll have the 3%. Is that what I'm hearing?
I talked to the sheriff's department and 911. I got your matrix all. It's good. We just have to reconvene.
I forgot my badge.
Oh.
So you have to deal with that. We'll just reconvene and then.
Get him a real one.
I got a sheriff's matrix pay badge because I graduated.
Well, it was quite an honor. He told everybody
It was.
all day.
It was awesome. I tried to get out of a speeding ticket the other day with it. It didn't work.
No. Yeah, nice try.
Yeah. So I would also add my suggestion would be to exclude commissioners and council out of the pay raise.
Yes.
Keep board stipends where they are,
Yep.
and then increase the part-time rates 3% as well.
Yes. And then we list the county highway hourly rates. So that would,
I mean, we're gonna amend it in the budget sheet.
Yeah.
I don't know why we keep it separate, but
yeah.
we'll add 3%.
All right.
Civil
so-
defense is getting unruly back there.
On the contract for the budget,
Mhm.
when would the engagement or contact, when do you have that?
I have when it was signed by the commissioners, it was on May the 5th when it was signed, and we received a copy.
Initial engagement?
Oh, we started shortly thereafter by, you mean, when did we start the engagement? Is
Yeah,
that what-
it says December 20th.
Oh, no, that is a master services agreement that we have to have with a client before we can start work. That was signed earlier because you all have worked with us previously. So that was that when it's saying December the 5th, that is a master services agreement. Like it is an agreement that we have to have in place before we can do individual scopes of service. The budget is a scope of service that's referencing that original
I
agreement.
also have the fire district,
Yep.
We're gonna hear that at the council meeting.
and that's
That's separate.
June 25th engagement.
Yes, that was the
But
scope.
that's not been signed yet. That's not
No.
been executed.
So that's,
Yeah, that's a-
so
And the
we
minutes that
have,
are on right now on the website has nothing on there about commissioners hiring Baker Tilly to man budgets for. And we've been told by the councils before that had previously not been hired to do the budget. That you guys were talking about it, but there's nothing in the minutes of hiring Baker Tilly or doing a contract with them in the May 5th minutes.
this is all brand new to me, like 3 days ago, that you folks are even involved.
We have a signed contract. I don't.
I see that, I just,
Have you
Because it
signed
was
contract with
signed
not
by the
actually
commissioner
formally
chair.
approved?
I don't think I was here when the vote was taken, but
Said
we,
May 5th.
yeah, that's when,
The next
that's
commissioners
when it
meeting.
was signed.
Monday.
I don't know when they voted on it exactly. I don't think I was here, but it was signed on May the 5th by the commissioner chair.
February the 4th. This year's another date that's on it.
So so we also got hired to do the comprehensive financial plan. And that was that was a scope of service dated February the 4th. And that was signed on also May the 5th by the commissioner chair. So like, I don't know when these were actually voted on, but it was signed by the commissioner chair on May the 5th. And that is this or this one.
That's a 5-year plan.
Yes, that's the 5-year.
So that's why I think when we discussed last week, we were not aware that we had a contract for service. So that's
Yeah.
why you're getting all these questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, yeah.
what
Yeah,
this comes
soon
from,
as
I
we
didn't,
got this signed, we started helping with revenue estimates, the auditor's office with revenue estimates. We prepared all the documents in Gateway.
and it didn't, like, this one for the fire district has to not to exceed.
Yes, so
Like
not to
this
exceed.
other one has.
The
just
budget services, I
rate.
believe, is just time and expense
Hourly.
because we never know what we're gonna get into.
Mhm.
It's just time and expense.
So we don't have a limit on that.
We could have put a limit if requested, but it wasn't requested of us.
Do we know where the money's gonna come from?
Yeah, the budget, for it. I guess that would be
do we have a budget for that?
Yeah, you're supposed to have an appropriation before you enter into a contract. So there's nothing in the minutes stating that the contract was approved at the May 5th meeting. So I'm confused as to how there could be a contract in place without an appropriation and then not even knowing where it's being paid from. And for the record, we never used Baker Tilly to do our budgets in the last 16 years. We did it all in-house. So they offered other services, but we did not use them for that. So I don't know what it was mentioned that I think Penny mentioned that the contract that you had done services before.
And it might have been discussed a couple meetings prior and signed on May 5th.
I read all the minutes.
Oh, you did all through
And then
April.
not
Yeah,
discussed.
but we did approve it, voted on it May 5th because he signed it that day in the meeting.
Well, it's not in the minutes.
It's not in the minutes.
I didn't take the minutes. I don't know
Well,
how that
I
was.
don't know why you
So
have a contract.
I would suggest maybe somebody could, well, ask the commissioners how that happened, and
Excuse me, Brad. Okay.
the agenda.
We'll do that. So are there any other questions before I ask if, for the assessor to have audience? Is there anything? Okay, and you could-
So how much is this service costing the county
it's the contract's an hourly rate.
not to exceed?
There is no not to exceed on the contract.
We don't know how much this whole process is gonna cost the county.
I do not believe so.
How many hours do we have in already?
I can look that up if that's.
And part of that position is doing that job. So is this a one-time thing and then moving forward, that office is gonna manage that?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope so too, but I mean, cause the salary is based on performing all these duties and this is a large chunk of that role. The fact that we've hired this out, plus the salary is reflecting those job duties that
And that is something we will talk with the commissioners, and that was their decision.
well, there seems to be a lot of talk going on, but not communicated with the actual.
With what?
There's a lot of talk that goes on, but nothing is communicated with the rest of us. I mean, we just got this agenda yesterday at 1:30 in our email.
Yes,
The
that was,
14th date was a new date. That's something new that we did not know about. I mean, I'm not trying to be like the squeaky wheel, but communication, like again, this is breeding mistrust, turmoil, and chaos amongst the department heads and the employees here, with those that are making decisions on our behalf.
right. And that would be me with getting the agenda out late, or still working on what all we're going to address.
Well, and there's also a concern that you guys are potentially violating the open door law
How?
because you have to post the agenda 48 hours prior to a meeting. And posting on Facebook is not considered the formal posting. So are we doing this all for nothing is another concern. So the agenda is to be posted at the meeting place 48 hours prior to a meeting. This was posted on the doors at noon yesterday.
Okay.
There was a posting about the meeting on Facebook a week or so ago, but that is not what's considered formal notice for the open door law. And when you're violating the open door law, there are consequences with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
We've billed $6,600 to date.
For budget services?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you now.
Thank you.
6,600 to date. That's as of September.
And today we have a 50% off coupon that I brought with me.
Well, maybe your badge might be worth something.
Yeah. But he's not going to give that up, though.
That's not a bad.
Okay. So, are we ready for the assessor? And
Sorry, I had a bit dead horse. I just want to make sure everybody's okay. with the changes that we discussed, with the schedule, and with the 3% and spending down. I'm not hearing any objections, but I don't want silence to
Vote on it.
Yes, it's a,
everybody. Okay, good. That sounds good. Thank you.
no, you're fine. There you are, Karen. Okay.
Thank you, Paige, for all your help.
Hang on.
We do need some.
Yeah, just sit right here. It's fine. Pages is good.
Yes.
I have Amy giving you some information with the letter I'm going to read and a spreadsheet of salaries for my position, the auditor and treasurer since 2019.
So that's just for us to
This is
look and
this is for you to look
because you're
at
talking
so
about
for
you,
reference. Yes.
about your salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am going to be retiring in April. And so Amy is the budget that you're discussing for next year will be more for her and Annette in my office than me, because I'll only be there the first 3 months up there. But I wanted to still bring this up because I wanted to discuss with you the salary for the position of county assessor. I've looked at the salary of the assessor, auditor, and treasurer going back to 2019. I have a spreadsheet attached for you to look at. As you can see, up until this year, the auditor was the highest salary, then the assessor, and then the treasurer. This year, I am $3,995 less than the treasurer and $6,167 less than the auditor. I feel that this needs to be addressed at budget and adjusted back to the assessor position as second highest like it has been in the past. I would like you to consider that the assessor salary be $68,286, which is right in between the auditor and treasurer, and the increases are given this year. I asked that Louise be given up to this amount. I looked at several other counties, and they also have the auditor highest, then the assessor, and then the treasurer. I want to remind you that to be the county assessor, you have to pass level 1, level 2, and level 3 assessor appraiser certifications. You then are required to obtain 30 hours of continuing education every 2 years. Other offices do not have to be certified or have continuing education classes that are required. As far as I know, we are the only office that has to achieve this level. In 2008, when I started at the county office, we had 7 employees and a float. We are now running the office with myself and 2 employees. This is a big cost savings to the county, and we're able to continue with the highest level of service to the taxpayers, which is sometimes not easy since we have to deal with disgruntled taxpayers often when the assessments are raised. This makes the job very challenging. If the salary is just adjusted, then my first deputy salary should be adjusted also to keep with the 85% of the elected official salary. I would also like to get the stipend for my cell phone. I use it's a personal cell phone. I use it for the job all the time. Checking emails, looking at things on GIS and maps when we're going out to do field checks, heritage barns and mobile homes. So receive texts and calls from the state taxpayers or questions pertaining to this office.
And on the cell phone, you just need to call with the auditor's office and get yourself set up. Okay. Fine.
Yes. For consideration in this matter.
You.
Do you have any questions for Karen? So we're gonna look at this.
Under advisement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I ask.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there anything else that we need to discuss or go over before we adjourn and workshop? We're good?
Yeah, I think looking forward to working with the auditor's office to get the forms all done, and I'll pitch in and
Great, then I call this meeting ended. It is 7:15 for the budget workshop on September 11th.